Poem 1 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Anne Boulay. The Poetry of St Teresa of Avila. Translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. Poem 1. Self-oblation. Vuestro soy, para vos nací. Lord, I am thine, for I was born for thee. Reveal what it is thou dost ask of me. O sovereign Lord, of majesty supreme, O wisdom that existed from all time, O bounty, showing pity on my soul, God, one sole being, merciful, sublime, behold this basest of all created things, as thus, with hardihood its love it sings, and tell me, Lord, what thou dost ask of me. Lo, I am thine, thou hast created me, and I am thine, thou hast redeemed me. And I am thine, for thou dost bear with me, and thine, for thou hast called me to thee. And thine, who dost preserve me at thy cost, nor leavest me to perish mid the lost. Say what it is, Lord, thou dost will of me. Declare what dost decree, O Master kind, if serf so vile have any fitting task, and tell what office by thy will ordained is work that from so base a slave dost ask. Behold, sweet love, I wait for thy command. Behold me, Lord, before whose face I stand. Do thou reveal what thou dost will of me? Behold my heart, which here I bring, and in thy hand as glad entire free offering lay, together with my body, life and soul, the love, the longings that my being sway. To thee, Redeemer and most gentle Spouse, in willing holocaust I pledge my vows. What is there, Lord, that I may do for thee? Bestow long life, or straightway bid me die. Let health be mine, or pain and sickness send. With honor or dishonor be my path beset by war, or peaceful till the end. My strength or weakness be as thou shalt choose, for naught thou askest shall I e'er refuse. I only wish what thou wilt have of me. Assign me riches, keep in poverty, and let me cherished or neglected dwell. In joy or mourning as thou wilt, upraised to highest heaven or hurled down to hell. Whether the sky be bright, from cloudlets free, it matters not, I leave the choice to thee. What lot, O Lord, wilt thou decide for me? Give contemplation if thou wilt, or let my lonely soul in dryness ever pine. Abundance and devotion be the gift thou choosest, or a sterile soul be mine. O Majesty supreme, in naught apart from thy decree can I find peace of heart. Say what it is, Lord, thou dost wish of me. Lord, give me wisdom, or if love demand, leave me in ignorance. It matters not, if mine be years of plenty, or beset with famine dire and with parching drought. Be darkness over all or daylight clear. Dispatch me hither, or keep me stationed here. Say what it is, Lord, thou wilt have of me. If thou shouldest destine me for happiness, for love's sake, joy and happiness I greet. Bid me endure and labor till I die. Resigned, in work and pain my death I'll meet. Reveal the how, the where, the when, for this is the sole boon, O love, I crave of thee, that thou declare what thou wouldst have of me. Let Calvary or Thabor be my fate, a desert or a fertile land of rest. Like Job, in sorrow let me mourning weep, or lie like John in peace upon thy breast. Bear fruit and flourish, or a withered vine I'll perish fruitless, so the choice be thine. Reveal, O Lord, what thou dost ask of me. Like Joseph, as he lay in shackles bound, or holding over Egypt first command, David chastised, atoning for his sins, or David crowned as ruler o'er the land, with Jonah struggling, mid the raging sea submerged, or set from ills and tempests free. Declare, O Lord, what thou wilt have of me. Then bid me speak or bid me silence keep, Make me a fecund or a barren land, expose my wounds by the stern law's decree, or comfort me by gospel message bland. Let me in torture lie or comfort give, I crave alone that thou within me live, and shouldest reveal what thou wilt have of me. End of Poem 1. Poem 2 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This recording is in the public domain. Poem 2, The Soul's Desire, first version. Vivo sin vivere en me. I live, but yet I live not in myself. For since aspiring to a life more high, I ever die because I do not die. This mystic union of love divine, the bond whereby alone my soul doth live, hath made of God my captive, but to me true liberty of heart the while doth give. And yet my spirit is so sorely pained at gazing on my Lord by me enchained, that still I die because I do not die. Alas, how wearisome a waste is life, how hard a fate to bear! In exile here, fast locked in iron fetters lies my soul, a prisoner in earth's mournful dungeon drear. But yet the very hope of some relief doth wound my soul with such tormenting grief, that still I die because I do not die. No life so bitter, none so sad as mine, while exiled from my Lord my days are spent. For though to love be sweet, yet hope deferred is wearisome. From life's long banishment, O God, relieve me from this mournful freight, which crushes with a more than leaden weight, so that I die because I do not die. I live, since death must surely come at last. Upon that hope alone my trust I build. For when this mortal life shall die, at length, my longings then will wholly be fulfilled. Come, death, come, bring life's certainty to me. O tarry thou no more, I wait for thee, and ever die because I do not die. Behold, how strong to master us is love. Molest me, life, no more. Wouldst thou attain thine end, lose thou thyself, for by that loss alone canst thou the life eternal gain. Come, gentle death, sweet death, do thou delay no moment longer that most welcome day, whereon I die because I do not die. We do but dream we live in earthly life, our sole true life is that of heaven on high. Nor can existence any true delight confer until this mortal life shall die. O death, I pray thee, shun me not in scorn, for life to me is but a death forlorn, wherein I die because I do not die. Say, life, what is there I can do for him, my God, who in my heart his home doth make, except supremer joy in him attain by forfeiture of thee for his dear sake? O longed for death, that maketh all mine own him whom my heart aspireth for alone, the while I die because I do not die. Apart from thee, my God, my one desire I long for. What is life disconsolate, save lengthened agony of life prolonged? Ne'er have I looked upon so sad a fate. I grieve to see my soul's most mournful state, beset with ills so wholly consummate, that still I die because I do not die. The gasping fish finds easement from its hurt in death, when drawn out from its native wave, and all the agony that dying brings is cured by death itself within the grave. Can any death with mine in pain compare, or rival this most grievous life I bear, wherein I die because I do not die? Anon my heart begins to find relief while gazing on thee in the sacred host. Yet seeing that I still enjoy thee not, 'tis then I feel my exile from thee most. Thus all I see doth but increase my pain, while still I languish for thy sight in vain, and ever die because I do not die. If e'er the hope of looking on thy face inspires my heart with gladness and relief, the dread lest I may lose thee in the end renews with twofold pang my bitter grief. Thus fast beset with oft recurring fears, I wait and hope, slow pass the weary years, while still I die because I do not die. Deliver me in mercy from this death, and grant, O God, the gift of life at last. Nor let me linger in captivity, enchained to earth with bonds and fetters fast. I die with longing to behold Thee near, and gain true life. Without Thy presence dear, behold, I die because I do not die. Henceforth I will bewail my living death, in mournful lay my woeful life lament, while thus my sins detain me in the world long exiled. From this earthly banishment, O God, when will the dawn of that glad day deliver, when at last I truly say that now I die because I do not die? End of Poem 2. Poem 3 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 3. The Soul's Desire, Second Version. Vivo sin vivere en mí. A life apart, estranged from myself, is now my lot because I die of love. And since our Lord has sought me for His own, in Him, not in myself, I live and move. For when my heart to Christ I wholly gave, therein this epigraph did He engrave, that I should die because I do not die. This mystic union of love divine, this bond whereby alone my soul doth live, hath made my God my captive, yet to me true liberty of heart the while doth give. And yet my spirit is so sorely pained, when I behold my Lord by me enchained, that still I die because I do not die. Alas, how wearisome a waste is life! How hard a fate to bear my exile here, where locked in iron fetters lies my soul, a prisoner in earth's mournful dungeon drear. And yet to muse upon the day relief shall come, doth wound with such tormenting grief, that still I die because I do not die. Achieve thy task, forsake me utterly, O life, I pray of thee, molest me not. For when I die, throughout eternity, what but to joy and live will be my lot? Delay thou not, to mitigate my grief, O death, but in thy pity bring relief, because I die in that I do not die. End of Poem 3. Poem 4 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 4. The Soul's Exile. Cuán triste es, Dios mío. Sadly I pine, O God of mine, afar from Thee I sigh, with yearning heart, from Thee apart, I long to die. Weary the day and long the way that on this earth we wend, a sojourn drear man passes here, in exile doomed to spend. Master adored, O worshipped Lord, I for deliverance cry, craving the grace to see Thy face, I long to die. With sorrow rife our earthly life could not more bitter be, nor can life dwell within the soul while kept apart from Thee. O Thou my sweet and only good, in misery I sigh, craving the grace to see Thy face, I long to die. O Death benign, upon me shine, and succor Thou my pain. The blow dost deal is sweet to feel, whereby we freedom gain. What blissful fate, O my beloved, to dwell with Thee for aye! Grant me the grace to see Thy face, and let me die. A love earthborn is ever drawn to life that's spent on earth, for life of bliss alone doth hope the love of earthly birth. Ah, who can live, eternal God, apart from Thee, I cry, craving the grace to see Thy face, I beg to die. For he who dwells in this sad world in sorrow ever sighs, since true life never can be found except in paradise. Do Thou assist me, O my God, to win that life on high, and grant me grace to see Thy face. O let me die. Then who would fear, if death drew near, to let it work its will, since thus we buy eternally a joy that lasteth still? For oh, to love Thee, God of mine, is endless ecstasy. Then grant me grace to see Thy face, because I long to die. My anguished soul doth faint for grief, and utters many a moan. Alas, what heart can live apart from him it loves alone? Free me, oh free me from the pain in which I ever lie. Bestow the grace to see Thy face, and let me die. When on the cruel hidden hook the river fish is caught, its pains and struggles by its death are to an ending brought. My only Good, apart from Thee, such is my agony, then give me grace to see Thy face, and let me die. O Master mine, my anxious soul doth seek for Thee in vain, since Thou art still invisible, nor dost relieve its pain. Then from my love thereby inflamed breaks forth the bitter cry, O grant me grace to see Thy face, that I may die. When Thou, my God, within my heart dost deign to come as guest, the instant thought of losing Thee doth lacerate my breast. Ah, woe is me! My anguish keen doth make me moan and sigh, to win the grace to see Thy face, and seeing, die. Lord, finish this long agony in which so long I groan, and render Thy poor handmaid help, who craves for Thee alone. Let me be happy. Shatter Thou the chains in which I lie, and give me grace to see Thy face, and then to die. But no, not so, beloved Lord, my pain is the just meed whereby I expiate my sins and many an evil deed. My groans and tears plead in Thine ears, and for Thy mercy sigh. O grant me grace to see Thy face, and seeing, die. End of Poem 4. Poem 5 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 5. Self-Surrender. Dichoso el corazón enamorado. How blessed is the heart with love fast bound on God, the center of its every thought, renouncing all created things as naught. In Him its glory and its joy are found. Even from self its cares are now set free, towards God alone it aims, its actions tend. Joyful and swift it journeys to its end, o'er the wild waves of life's tempestuous sea. End of Poem 5. Poem 6 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 6. Divine Beauty. O hermosura que excedías. O beauty, that doth far transcend all other beauty, Thou doest deign without a wound our hearts to pain, without a pang our wills to bend, to hold all love for creatures vain. O mystic love knot, that dost bind two creatures of such diverse kind! How canst Thou, then, e'er severed be? For bound, such strength we gain from Thee, we take for joys the griefs we find. Things void of being linked, unite with that great beauty infinite. Thou fillest my soul, which hungers still. Thou lovest where man can find but ill. Our naught grows precious by Thy might. End of Poem 6. Poem 7 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 7. The Compact. Ya toda me entregué y di. Now am I wholly yielded up, foregone, and this the pact I made, that the Beloved should be all mine own, I His alone. Struck by the gentle hunter and overthrown, within the arms of love my soul lay prone. Raised to new life at last, this contract 'tween us passed, that the Beloved should be all mine own, I His alone. With lance embarbed with love, He took His aim, one with its Maker hence my soul became. No love but His I crave, since self to Him I gave, for the Beloved is mine own, I his alone. End of Poem 7. Poem 8 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This recording is in the public domain. Poem 8 on the Transverberation of the Saint's Heart. En las internas entrañas. Within my heart a stab I felt, a sudden stab, expecting not. Beneath God's standard was it dealt, for goodly were the deeds it wrought. And though the lance hath wounded me, and though the wound be unto death, surpassing far all other pain, yet doth new life therefrom draw breath. How doth a mortal wound give life? How, while life-giving, yet doth slay? How heal, while wounding, leaving thee united to thy God alway? Celestial was that hand, and though with peril, dire the fray was fraught, it came forth victor o'er the lance, and goodly were the deeds it wrought. End of Poem 8. Poem 9 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This recording is in the public domain. Poem 9. Aspirations. Si el amor que me tenis. If thy love bear remembrance, O my God, to mind for thee, reveal what it is that doth hinder me, what keeps me here. What cravest thou, O heart? Not, O my God, but to behold thee near. What is that thing that thou dost chiefly fear? To dwell from thee apart. Of love I'm fain, that thou mayest take possession of my breast, to be a fitting home for thee, a nest thee to contain. Hid in its God, what other blessing can the soul desire, except to love thee more, and ever daily learn, with love afire, love's deeper lore? End of Poem 9. Poem 10 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This recording is in the public domain. Poem 10. Soul, thou must seek thyself in me, and seek for me in thee. Alma, buscarte has en mí. Such is the power of love, O soul, to paint thee in my heart. No craftsman with such art, whate'er his skill might be, could there thine image thus impart. 'Twas love that gave thee life. Then, fairest, if thou be lost to thyself, thou'lt see thy portrait in my bosom stamped. Soul, seek thyself in me. Wouldst find thy form within my heart, if there thou madest quest, and with such life invest. Thou wouldst rejoice to find thee thus, engraven in my breast. Or if, perchance, art ignorant where thou mayest light on me, wander not wide and free, soul, if my presence wouldst attain, seek in thyself for me. Because in thee I find my house of rest, my dwelling place, my home, where at all hours I come and knock at the closed portal of thy thoughts, when far abroad they roam. No need is there to look for me without, nor far in search to flee. Promptly I come to thee. If thou but call to me, it doth suffice. Seek in thyself for me. End of Poem 10. Poem 11 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. Poem 11. The Dying Saint to her Crucifix. Soberano esposo mío. O thou my sovereign spouse, to thee I come. Ah, grant me to attain, nor let me wander far in vain, that in the depths of thy vast sea this streamlet may its end obtain. O gentle spouse, aid with thy grace, and with the palm my soul invest, that's due to the love's subservient quest, that in its bridegroom's fond embrace my soul may find its perfect rest. Thine arms for me will victory get, nor to entreat such boon I shrink, knowing that thou wilt never think how little thou dost owe, and yet how deeply I am in thy debt. Lord, by thy nuptial contract bide, detach my soul from alien ties, and make it sure of paradise, since thou with arms outstretched wide art waiting to receive thy bride. Since thou dost thus thine arm extend, I'll give my soul to be their prey, and while thou drawest it away, thine eyes, my Christ, upon me bend, whose soul dost from my body rend. While I to thee my soul confide, let thy 5 wounds my comfort be, to which my soul finds passage free. For they as heaven's ports bide, which for my sake were opened wide. Thy guests are of such noble sort, I know not if my lowly state gives entrance, so beside the gate, a lowly woman, do I wait, apart from those that form thy court. My life in such a sort is led, obedient to the laws, love made, that all my hopes on thee are stayed, while hangs to plead in my poor stead this Agnus Dei by my bed. Care not that I am indigent, but look upon my soul as thine, and say if certain hope be mine. Ah, yes, I see thy head is bent to bow me token of assent. At length the time has come to see how far our love doth lead in truth, and if we love in very sooth, for now I come to shelter me beneath the branches of this tree. Since this is so, my spouse, my king, though surging tumult round me rage, let thy command my dread assuage, while to these wood cross bars I cling, that he they hold defense may bring. I do not fear the anguish rife in that last parting's bitter sting, if unto thee, my Christ, I cling, for in that hour of final strife I hold within my clasped hands life. For if I clasp thee, Lord, behold then doth our mutual delight my soul with thee, O Christ, unite. Since God within mine arms I hold, who in his arms doth me enfold. End of poem 11. Poem 12 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 12. Nuns of Carmel. Caminemos para el cielo. Let us e'er journey on to heaven, ye nuns of Carmel. Let us be ever mortified, of humble heart though the world jibe, all comfort and delight denied, as nuns of Carmel. By vow we promise to obey, nor let our wills assert their sway. Be this our aim, be this our stay, we nuns of Carmel. The path of poverty we plod, for 'tis the road to earth he trod, when from the heavens came our God, O nuns of Carmel. For God's love waneth not at all, he to our souls doth ever call. Follow we him, nor fear to fall, O nuns of Carmel. Strive to attain that blessed shore, where we shall suffer never more from poverty nor anguish sore, we nuns of Carmel. Elias' pattern hath imbued our courage for self-combat rude, with burning zeal and fortitude, as nuns of Carmel. Thus while we from self-love abstain, the prize Eliseus did obtain, the twofold spirit may we gain, we nuns of Carmel. End of poem 12. Poem 13 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 13. The Wise Virgin. Written for the veiling of Sister Isabel of the Angels. Hermana, ¿por qué velis? To bid thee, sister, keep strict watch and ward, we on this morn bestowed this veil on thee, for heaven itself 'twill win thee in reward, then be watchful. Sister, the graceful veil we gave to thee doth warn thee to keep steadfast watch and ward, and faithfully to tend thy virgin lamp, until the hour the bridegroom comes. Thy Lord for sudden, like some far-famed bandit, he comes unawares, when thou dost least foresee, then be watchful. For none doth know nor can his hour decree, for whether in the first hour of the night it comes, or lingers till the next or third, no Christian soul there is divines aright. Then watch, my sister, watch, lest by surprise thou shouldst be plundered of thy lawful prize. Oh, be watchful. Ever, O sister, in thy vigil see, thou holdest a burning lamp within thy hand, wearing thy veil while thou dost mount a guard. Constant, with reins fast girded, shalt thou stand. Beware, lest thou by slumber be undone, ere yet thy pilgrim course be wholly run. But watchful be. Then take a vial with thee, kept ever filled with oil of works and merits thou hast won, as fuel to provide thy virgin lamp, lest the flame perish ere thy vigil's done, since thou wouldst have to seek it from afar, if empty were the vase that thou didst bear. So be watchful. For there are none would lend the oil to thee, and if thou shouldst depart to purchase more, thou might return too late. If once the spouse has come and passed within the bridal door, and they by his behest the portal lock, ne'er will it open more to cry or knock, then be watchful. So keep thou sentinel, I counsel thee, and let thy threefold promise made this morn be kept with manful courage faithfully, as thou on thy profession day hast sworn. Thus, if on earth in vigil thou dost wake, shalt with the bridegroom joyful entrance make. Sister, I charge thee, ever watchful be. End of poem 13. Poem 14 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 14. The refrain of a song for a clothing. ¿Quién os trajo acá, doncella? Maiden, who was it brought you here from out of the vale of misery? God and my happy destiny. End of poem 14. Poem 15 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 15, The Holocaust, written for the profession of Sister Isabel of the Angels. Sia mi gozo en el llanto. Henceforth I'll joy in wretchedness, let startling fears be my repose, and reaping solace from my woes, take losses for my soul's success. May tempests fierce assault my love, my feast be wounds I won in strife, and death become for me my life, contempt to me true honor prove. My riches lie in poverty, my triumph from my wars I wrest, and weary toil doth make me rest, the while content in grief doth lie. Obscurity shall be my light, exalted when I'm most debased, my pathway by the cross is traced, wherein I glory and delight. In base estate mine honor shows, I bear the palm to suffering due, while from decay I spring anew, and profit from my losses grows. With hunger am I satiate, I hope in apprehension drear, my consolation comes from fear, and sweetness doth with bitter mate. Oblivion keeps my memory, I higher rise when beaten down, and in contempt my fame I own, while insults gain me victory. Dishonor weaves my laurel crown, I strive to win the prize of pain, the meanest place, that all disdain, brings me retirement and renown. My trust in Christ hath no alloy, in Him alone I find my peace, whose vicissitudes my strength increase, and whom to imitate I joy. On this support do I rely, wherein I find security, the proof of mine integrity, the seal that stamps my constancy. End of poem 15. Poem 16 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 16, The Bride of Christ, a profession song. O que bien tan sin segundo. O matchless good, betrothal that with sanctity endows, today the King of Majesty supreme became thy spouse. O truly blessed, the fate for thee by Providence decreed, chosen as his beloved by thy God, who for thy ransom on the cross did bleed, whom serve with fortitude as thou didst pledge in thy profession vows, because the King of Majesty supreme is now thy spouse. Rich are the gems the bridegroom, Lord of earth and sky, will give. Of joys and consolation of his grace, thy lover never will thy soul deprive. As richest gift of all, will he bestow a humble heart and meek. As king he can do all he will, and thee, as bride, did seek. He will infuse for him so holy and so pure a love, that I protest, thou mayest from thy heart all fear of earthly thing remove, and still more mayest thou scorn the fiend, for bound in fetters must he stay, because the King of Majesty became thy spouse today. End of poem 16. Poem 17 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 17. The Shepherd's Bridals, a profession song. O dichosa la zagala! Blessed shepherdess, how high her gain, who to that shepherd plights her troth, who reigns and evermore shall reign! How blessed her lot, whom fate doth wed to such a spouse of goodly race! My faith, good Gil, I stand abashed, nor dare to gaze upon her face, since she this bridegroom doth obtain, who reigneth and who ever shall reign. Forsooth, what did she give, to make that shepherd take her to his cot? Her heart she gave him for his own. Ay, 'twas with right good will, I wot, for comely is the shepherd swain, who reigns, and evermore shall reign. If more she had, more would she give. So hie thee to her, boy, and take this basket full, that she might choose what gifts she to her love will make, now she this husband doth obtain, who reigneth and who ever will reign. The damsel's dowry have we seen, but what the gifts the shepherd brought? He won her with his own blood shed. Oh, at what ransom high she's bought! Blissful all other brides above, the shepherdess that wins such love. How deeply must that bridegroom love, to do such kindness to his bride! Faith, dost thou know he gave her gown, her sandals and all else beside? These did she from her bridegroom gain, who reigneth and who e'er will reign. Forsooth, good Gil, 'twere well we hired that shepherdess our flocks to tend. Upon the hills with merry cheer we'll win her for our right good friend, since she this bridegroom doth obtain, who reigns and evermore shall reign. End of poem 17. Poem 18 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 18. The Cloister, a profession song. Pues que nuestro esposo. Since Christ our bridegroom doth desire that we, his brides, a prison share, right gladly to the feast we throng, the while religion's yoke we bear. Oh, blessed is the wedding day that Christ doth for his brides prepare, who all are by his heart beloved, who all his light and guidance share, to follow where the cross doth lead, with high perfection be our care, as gladly to the feast we throng, the while religion's yoke we bear. This state above all other states is that by which our God doth choose, whereby he from the galling bonds that sin hath forged, his brides doth loose. Jesus doth plight his faith that he solace to all such souls will give, who ever with a joyful heart within this prison steadfast live. High the reward we shall receive within the realm of perfect bliss, if for the treasures kept by Christ the baubles of the world we miss. While earth's deception and base dross we for our bridegroom's sake dismiss, and joyful to the feast we fare, the while religion's yoke we bear. For oh, what blessed freedom lies contained in such captivity, a life of perfect happiness, secure for all eternity! My heart its fetters doth embrace, nor seeks to win its liberty. So eager to the feast we'll fare, the while religion's yoke we bear. End of poem 18. Poem 19 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 19. The Standard of the Holy Cross. A Profession Song. Todos los que milites. All ye who fight and fear no loss beneath the standard of the cross, sleep no more nor slumber now, God abides not here below. Like a gallant warrior brave, God our Lord for death did crave. Within his footsteps let us tread, since by our hands his blood was shed. For oh, what precious gifts were bought by that most bitter war he fought. Sleep thou not nor slumber now, God abides not here below. He for us with joy did languish, freely bore the cross's anguish, died to bring us sinners light, by his own most piteous plight. O most glorious victory! How great the spoils he won thereby! Sleep thou not, nor slumber now, God abides not here below. Draw not back in cowardice, tend thy life in sacrifice, none so sure his life of saving, as the loss of it when braving. Jesus will our leader be, our reward in victory. Sleep no more nor slumber now, for God abides not here below. Let our lives in death's libation be to Christ a true oblation. Thus to heaven's bridals blest, each will come as welcome guest. Follow, by this standard led, within Christ's track and footsteps tread. O sleep no more nor slumber now, our God abides not here below. End of poem 19. Poem 20 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 20. Greeting to the Cross. Cruz, descanso sabroso de mi vida. Cross, thou delicious solace of my life, I welcome thee. O standard, 'neath whose sign the worst of cowards must be brave. O thou our life, who erst our death didst raise from out of the grave. Thy strength the lion didst subdue, for 'twas thy power the foe that slew. Welcome, all hail! Who loves thee not, lives prisoner, 'gainst liberty doth fight. Who seeks within thy track to tread, ne'er wanders from the right. Blessed be the power that thou dost own, which hath the power of ill overthrown. Welcome, all hail! 'Twas thou didst bring deliverance to us in bondage lost. 'Twas thou the ill that didst redeem, paid at so dear a cost. For thou with God wast the instrument, O joy by. Welcome, all hail! End of poem 20. Poem 21 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 21. Processional for the Feast of the Holy Cross. In la cruz está la vida. The cross contains our life and our soul's solace. Therein doth lie the only road that leadeth to paradise. Upon the cross is found the Lord of earth and heaven, and perfect joy of peace profound. The war bewaging, from all the ills this mortal exile holds, lies in its limits, and by the cross alone it is we wend our way to heaven. 'Twas of the cross the bride declared to be her beloved, that it was like the stately palm which she had mounted. The very God of heaven himself its fruit hath tasted, and by the cross alone we wend our way and march to heaven. 'Tis like a tree of leafy green, the bride's dilection, who sat her down to rest herself beneath its shadow, that she might joy in her beloved, the King of glory, and by this means alone we wend our way to heaven. In sight like to a precious olive, the holy cross with its oil blessed of unction doth anoint and doth illumine. Then, O my soul, embrace the cross with joy and gladness, for 'tis the road only whereby we reach to heaven. The soul which to its God hath been abandoned wholly, being within its heart of hearts detached from all things earthly, finds in the cross the tree of life and of all comfort and a delightsome path whereby it wends to heaven. For since upon the cross the Saviour hath freely rested, it hath become the source of glory and of honor. In suffering it becomes our life, our consolation, and 'tis the safest way whereby to wend to heaven. Then let us journey on to paradise, ye nuns of Carmel. Let us with eagerness embrace the cross and follow Jesus. For 'tis our way, our light whereby to guide us, which in itself contains all consolation, O nuns of Carmel. If dearer than the apple of your eye you keep your threefold pledges, 'twill from 1,000 grievous ills exempt you of trials and afflictions that beset us, we nuns of Carmel. The vow you promised of obedience, although it be of very lofty science, ne'er will permit you to do any evil, if ye resist it not, from which may the great God of heaven e'er preserve you, ye nuns of Carmel. The vow of chastity observe with the most watchful vigilance. Seek God alone, and keep yourselves in solitude with Him, regardless of the world, O nuns of Carmel. What men call poverty, if in entirety kept when it is vowed, contains great riches, and opes the gate of heaven to our coming, O nuns of Carmel. If these we practice, we shall win victory in all our combats, and in the end shall rest with Him who hath created earth and heaven, we nuns of Carmel. End of poem 21. Poem 22 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 22, the Lamb of God, a shepherd's carol. Ah, pastores que veléis! Ah, shepherds, watching by the fold your flocks upon the sward, to-night is born to you a Lamb, Son of the Sovereign Lord. He cometh poor, of mean estate, guard him without delay, or ere ye joy in him, a wolf will steal the lamb away. Reach me my crook, Gil, from my hand I will not let it fall. No wolf shall steal that lamb, I vow. No, he is Lord of all. Well may you think that I am dazed betwixt my joy and pain, for if this newborn babe be God, can he indeed be slain? He who is man as well as God, can choose to live or die. Bethink thee, 'tis the Lamb indeed, the Son of God Most High. I know not how men beg him come, then wage on him such war. Should he restore us to his land, sure, Gil, 'twere better far. Sin caused our exile here, and in his hands all good doth lie. He comes to suffer here on earth, this God of majesty. Little thou carest for his pain, 'tis so with all mankind. Men reek not of their neighbor's ill, wherein they profit find. As pastor of a mighty flock, great honor doth he gain. Still, 'tis a wondrous thing that God, the Lord supreme, be slain. End of poem 22. Poem 23 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 23, the Angel's Summons to the Shepherds. Mi gallejo, mira quien llama. See, boy, who doth call so clear, angels, for the dawn draws near. Hark, a sound of mighty humming, which methinks a song may be. Then hie thee to the shepherdess, now the morn breaks bras with me. See, boy, who doth call so clear, Angels, for the dawn is near. Is she kin to the alcalde? What the damsel's name and race? She is God the Father's daughter, Shineth like a star her face. Look, boy, who doth call so clear, Angels, for the dawn is near. End of poem 23. Poem 24 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 24. The Shepherds at the Crib. Pues el amor. Mihi autem absit gloriari, nisi in cruce Domini nostri. Since love brought God to earth, from heaven on high, naught should affright us more, let us both die. God gives his only Son as gift to man, born in a cattle shed his life began. Lo, God a man becomes, triumph most high, naught should affright us more, let us both die. Whence the love pasqual for us he bore, changing his royal robes for serge so poor? Best loves he poverty in his steps high, naught should affright us more, let us both die. What will men give to him, giver of all? Stripes from their scourges on his flesh will fall, bitter our tears will drop, with grief and sigh. If this be sooth indeed, let us both die. He is omnipotent, how shall they dare? 'Twas writ, from cruel men he death must bear. Let us conceal the babe in secrecy. Knowest not 'tis his own will? Then let us die. End of poem 24. Poem 25 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 25. Christmas Day, a Shepherd's Carol. Hoy nos viene a redimir. Today there comes upon our ransom bent a shepherd who is kith to all mankind. For Gil, he is our God omnipotent. And thus it is that he has raised us up, freed from the prison Satan held us in. For he, to Menga and to Llorente and Bras, and all of us is truly kin, because he is the Lord omnipotent. If he be God, how to be sold by men, and hanging on the bitter cross, be slain? Dost thou not know that sin is done to death, when innocence endures the sinner's pain? Dost thou not know he is omnipotent? My faith, I saw him as a newborn babe, and near him stood a lovely shepherdess. If he be God, why chooseth he to live with those in poverty and sore distress? Knowest thou not he is omnipotent? Prithee, give o'er thine idle questionings, and let us in his service e'er vie. Since he has come on earth to suffer death, with him, Llorente, let us gladly die, for he in truth is God omnipotent. End of poem 25. Poem 26 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 26. The Shepherd's Carol for the Circumcision. Vertiendo está sangre. See, he is shedding blood, Dominguillo, eh? Though why, I cannot say. I prithee tell thee why the infant thus they wound, for he is innocent, no guile in him is found. His heart was wholly set, though why I cannot say, on ardent love for me, Dominguillo, eh? But must men pain the babe, thus soon after his birth? Ay, for he comes to die, to save from ills our earth. Faith, what a shepherd brave that child will make some day! Shall we not love him well, Dominguillo, eh? Shepherd, I know not why, on babe so innocent, thou hast not cared to look? Ay, Brazil and Llorente have told me so erstwhile. My faith, 'twere ill, I say, didst thou not love this babe, Dominguillo, eh? End of poem 26. Poem 27 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 27. Shepherd's Carol for the Circumcision, 2. Este niño viene llorando. E'en as the babe comes, he is weeping sorely. O hark, Gil, hark, that babe is calling thee. Behold, the new-born infant from the heavens to earth descends to free us from our foes. Already is the direful strife beginning, for see, our Jesus' blood already flows. O hark, Gil, hark, that babe is calling thee. So great the love he beareth for us sinners, that little for the tears he sheds reeks he, steeling his infant heart to muster courage, since he the leader of his flock shall be. Then hark, Gil, hark, that babe doth call to thee. How dear the love he bears for us doth cost him, this infant but a few days newly born, whose blood already 'neath the knife is flowing. Forsooth, 'tis we and not the babe should mourn. O hark, Gil, that babe is calling thee. Had he not come to earth to die for sinners, he now were safe within his nest at home. Behold, Gil, to our earth from heaven descending, the babe doth as a roaring lion come. O hark ye, Gil, the babe is calling thee. What is it, Pascal, thou art seeking of me, that ever in mine ear thy tale is told? To love this babe who loves thee and doth tremble for thy sake 'neath the bittery winter cold. For hark thee, Gil, the babe doth call to thee. End of poem 27. Poem 28 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 28. The Shepherd and the Three Kings. A Carol for the Epiphany. Pues que la estrella. Since now the star above the crib doth shine, prithee wend with the kings, good flock of mine. To see Messias there we'll take our way, now are fulfilled the things the prophets say. For in our days to earth doth God descend, there with the kings, my sheep, I prithee wend. Gifts let us bring to him of costly store, whom the kings fervently seek to adore. Lo, our great shepherdess with joy doth shine, prithee wend with the kings, O flock of mine. Question not, Llorente, the reason why we hold this babe as God, come from on high. Yield him thy heart, as mine to him I tend. Hence with the kings, my flock, I prithee wend. End of poem 28. Poem 29 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 29. Poem to St Andrew. Si el padecer con amor. If suffering endured with love upon our part can so inspire with joy the stricken heart, what transport will the sight of thee impart? What will it be at length to look upon the eternal Majesty, since Andrew, when he gazed upon the cross, was filled with ecstasy? Nor even while we suffer can we fail to win fruition of the bliss we hail. What joy to see thee! Love that to full intensity hath grown rests not in idleness, as the brave warrior for the one he loves doth on to combat press. And having o'er love's self the victory gained, needs must all ends it strives for to be attained. O bliss to see thee! Since all men hold in fear the thought of death, why is it sweet to thee? 'Tis that when death shall strike, new life shall rise of high sublimity. Thou, O my God, by thine own death doth make the worst of cowards take courage for thy sake. What joy to see thee! O cross, now the most precious tree of all, thou most majestic wood, who, being held contemptible and mean, didst take for spouse thy God. I go to meet thee, jubilant of soul, and, though I merit not to crave such dole, I joy to see thee. End of Poem 29. Poem 30 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 30 to St Catherine the Martyr. O grande amadora! O fervent votaress of the eternal Lord, resplendent star, do thou thine aid afford. E'en in her infancy a spouse she chose, ne'er did her ardent love grant her repose. Then let no cowards seek her company, who love the world and fear for God to die. Ye cravens, gaze upon this maiden fair, who cared not for her wealth nor beauty rare. In persecution fierce she bore her part, enduring torments keen with virile heart. The absence of her love caused her far deeper grief, and suffering borne for him was all that gave relief. She craved for death, and pain alone could comfort give, since while on earth she dwelt, she could not truly live. Let us who long to share a fate so blest, ne'er labor here in vain, to seek for rest. O false deceit! How loveless 'tis to sigh for healing here where life is misery. End of Poem 30. Poem 31 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 31, Saint Hilarion. Hoy ha vencido un guerrero. This captain 'gainst the world and its allies the way to victory led. Sinners return, return ye, and within his footsteps tread. Seek solitude, nor let us crave to die, till we attain to live in perfect poverty. With skill supreme, the way this chieftain led. Sinners return, return ye, and within his footsteps tread. He conquered Lucifer with penance arms, with patience fought and now is free from all alarms. We also shall prevail, if by this captain led. Sinners return, return again, and in his footsteps tread. He had no friends, but to the cross he clave. This is our light, which Christ as light to sinners gave. O blessed zeal that stood the warrior in such stead! Sinners return, return ye, and within his footsteps tread. His crown is won, no more in grief he sighs, but joys in the reward of paradise. O glorious victory in which our soldier bled! Sinners return, O turn again, and in his footsteps tread. End of Poem 31. Poem 32 of the poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 32, Rhymed Maxims. When God doth the soul chastise, heavy are its penalties, yet beneath the clouds that rise, purer shine the sunny skies. Who on this world sets his mind, ne'er will true contentment find. He who sets on God his stay, knows not anguish of dismay. He who doth self-judgment blind, quickly calms his troubled mind. Naught doth greater solace give, than without desires to live. Bitter burden do we bear, when for aught on earth we care. The cross, when borne with ready will, far lighter weighs than many an ill. Seeking for naught, life with joy is fraught. Best of disciplines is still discipline of thy self-will. Let what comes whate'er may hap, ever serve to profit thee. Great thy profit, if dost judge everything is bad in thee. Let naught disturb thy peace, which will with this world cease. To the soul that can endure any life will easy seem, any life in living death the impatient soul will deem. A love for God but not the cross will put its hand to little work, a love that's strong and full of zeal doth neither toil nor trouble shirk. What though many faults be thine? Mortify, they'll soon decline. He who seeks no private gain always finds things to his mind. He who would his comfort find e'er sees reason to complain. Mortification brings grief alleviation. When for earthly things I sigh, then although I live, I die. If thou a happy nun wouldst be, let no one know thy pains but thee. End of Poem 32. Poem 33 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 33, St Teresa's bookmark. Naudite turbe. Let naught disturb thee, naught fright thee ever. All things are passing, God changeth never. Patience e'er conquers. With God for thine own, thou nothing dost lack. He sufficeth alone. End of Poem 33. Poem 34 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 34, the Soul's Detachment. Lleva el pensamiento. Keep thy thought and every wish ever raised to heaven on high. Let no trouble thee oppress, naught destroy tranquillity. Follow with a valiant heart Jesus in the narrow way. Come what will, whate'er thy trials, let not e'er thee dismay. All glory of this world is but vain and empty show. Swiftly all things pass away, naught is stable here below. Be thy sole desire to win good divine that never wanes, true and rich in promises, God our Lord unchanged remains. Love what best deserves thy love, goodness, bounty infinite. Lacking patience, love can ne'er reach full purity and height. Confidence and living faith in the strife the soul maintain. He who hopes and who believes all things in the world shall gain. Though the wrath of hell aroused hard the hunted soul besets, he who to his God adheres mocks at all the devil's threats. Though disgrace and crosses come, though his plans should end in naught, he whose God his treasure is ne'er shall stand in need of aught. Go, false pleasures of the world, go, vain riches that entice. Though the soul should forfeit all, God alone would all suffice. End of Poem 34. Poem 35 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 35, Sonnet to Jesus Crucified. No me mueve, mi Dios, para quererte. I am not moved, my God, to love of thee, because thou pledgest heaven in reward, nor is my soul by fear of death so awed as to be moved straightway from sin to flee. Thou movest my love, my God, to see thee hang nailed to the cross. Of men the scoff, the scorn, doth move my love. Thy body scourged and torn, thy mocking and affronts, thy dying pang. It is thy love that moves me in such way, that did no heaven exist, I'd love thee still. Dread of offense would still my spirit sway, were there no hell. Thy gifts move not my will. For though I hoped no guerdon in repay, the same unaltered love my heart would fill. End of Poem 35. Poem 36 of the Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poem 36, Before the Crucifix, by Isabel of Jesus. O thou all good and sweet, Jesus of Nazareth, let me but look on thee, then send me death. Let those look who will on rose and jasmine fair, on thee I gaze and see 1,000 gardens there. Thou flower all seraph bright, Jesus of Nazareth, let me but look on thee, then send me death. I seek no other joy, my Jesus is not here, all else torments the soul that holds his presence dear. Love and desire of thee are of my life the breath. Let me but look on thee, then send me death. A captive's fate is mine, whilst far thou art from me. Life is but living death, I live not, save with thee. When will that day draw near, which ends my exile here? O thou all good and sweet, Jesus of Nazareth, let me but look on thee, then send me death. End of Poem 36. End of The Poetry of St Teresa of Avila, translated from the Spanish by the Benedictines of Stanbrook.